If you're one of the millions of people who wear glasses or contacts, I'm sure this thought has crossed your mind. Can I really improve my vision? Can I just ditch these things for good?
I mean, it's a pretty amazing thought, right? Waking up and just seeing. Clearly. No fumbling around on the nightstand. Well, this dream of perfect sight, it's definitely not new.
In fact, for more than a century, people have been selling this idea that you can naturally cure your own bad eyesight. It's a super hopeful message. But the big question is, does it actually hold any water? To get to the bottom of this, we've got to go back to where it all started. We're heading back to the late 1800s to look at the most famous and, yeah, the most controversial method of them all. Okay, so this is the Bates method, dreamed up by a guy named Dr. William Horatio Bates. His whole theory was that bad vision, nearsightedness, you name it, was all caused by mental strain. He thought if you could just relax the muscles around your eye, you could cure yourself. The thing is, his entire idea was built on a fundamental misunderstanding of how the eye even works.
And this is really where the whole thing just completely falls apart. See, Bates was convinced that the muscles on the outside of your eyeball were squeezing it to change its shape and focus. But, well, we've known for over a century that's just flat out wrong. In reality, it's a tiny muscle inside your eye that changes the shape of the lens to focus. Your eyeball is way too tough to be squished into focus like some kind of water balloon. So, working from this totally flawed idea, Bates came up with some, let's just say, some really questionable exercises. One of the most famous, or maybe infamous, was a technique called sunning. He literally told people to stare toward the sun with their eyes closed, and even to flash their open eyeballs at direct sunlight. Yeah, you can probably guess what the medical community has to say about that. It's a huge flashing warning sign. Staring at the sun is incredibly dangerous. You can cause permanent damage, even get skin cancer on your eyelids. The bottom line here couldn't be simpler. Please do not do this. Now, even with all the scientific evidence stacked against it, the Bates method got a huge boost from a very famous fan, Aldous Huxley, the author of Brave New World. Huxley had a severe eye condition that left him nearly blind, and he swore that the Bates method helped him see well enough to read without his super thick glasses. He even wrote a whole book about it, which made the method really famous. But that's not where his story ends. So, fast forward a few years, Huxley is giving a speech at a big Hollywood dinner, and it looks like he's reading it just fine, no glasses. But then, as his publisher Bennett Cerf told it, Huxley started to struggle. He held the paper closer and closer until finally he had to pull out a magnifying glass just to see the words. It was this really agonizing moment that kind of revealed the sad truth. His vision was never really cured at all. Okay, so if eye exercises are pretty much a dead end, what about that other thing we've all been told since we were kids? You know, about carrots. Can you actually eat your way to perfect vision? Well, the real story behind this one is one of the most brilliant pieces of wartime propaganda ever. Picture this. It's World War II. The British Royal Air Force has this brand new top-secret radar tech that lets them spot enemy planes in the dark. Obviously, they don't want the Germans to know about it. So what do? They start a public campaign telling everyone their pilots are so good at night because they eat a ton of carrots. And this cover story works so well that here we are almost a century later, and people still believe it. All right, so we've debunked some of the biggest myths. Let's switch gears and talk about what science actually says we can do. What really works when it comes to taking care of our eyes? First things first, let's just get this out of the way. The scientific consensus is crystal clear. You can't cure a refractive error with exercises or food. That's just the fancy term for when your eye isn't shaped quite right to focus light perfectly. But, and this is a big but, that doesn't mean you're powerless. You can absolutely take steps to protect the health of your eyes for the long haul. And that really starts with what you eat. So while carrots won't give you superhuman night vision, they do have vitamin A, which is crucial for your eyes. And it's got a whole team of helpers. Think of these vitamins and nutrients as a little protective squad for your retinas, helping them fight off damage over time. And here's a quick cheat sheet on where to find these amazing nutrients. It's not about finding one single miracle food. It's really about a balanced diet with lots of leafy greens like kale and spinach, colorful fruits like oranges, and healthy fats from things like salmon and almonds. Now, beyond what's on your plate, your daily habits make a huge difference, especially now that we spend so much time staring at screens. Your eyes are working so hard. The 20-20-20 rule is a super simple but really effective way to combat that strain. Just think of it like hitting a little reset button for your eyes every 20 minutes.
And you got to remember, your eyes are part of your whole body, so overall health is key. Quitting smoking is a huge one. It dramatically lowers your risk for major eye diseases. Managing other conditions like diabetes is also critical. And of course, nothing beats getting a regular full checkup with an eye doctor to catch any problems early. Here's a number you should definitely commit to memory: 99 to 100%. That's how much UV radiation your sunglasses should block. They're not just for looking cool, they are essential safety gear for your eyes. Sun damage is a real threat, so always check that label. Now, we've talked about what's established science, but what about the future? Let's take a quick look at some of the more cutting-edge ideas that are being explored, keeping in mind these are not approved treatments just yet. So, for example, some researchers are looking at whether red light therapy could help kind of recharge the energy-producing cells in our retinas, and others are testing out special eye drops that could, one day, maybe dissolve cataracts without surgery. These are definitely fascinating areas to watch. But, and this is a really important but, we have to separate what's hopeful for the future from what's real today. Right now, medical experts are very clear. There are no eye drops that can cure cataracts. The only proven, accepted treatment is surgery. So it's so important to stick with what we know is safe and what actually works. So, where does all of this leave us? After digging through a century of myths and a whole lot of science, what's the big takeaway? Well, it's really about shifting our goal from finding some magic cure to just embracing smart, protective habits every single day. So here it is, the simple breakdown. Do give your eyes a break from screens. Don't fall for exercises that claim they can change your eye shape. Do eat the foods that give your eyes the fuel they need. And please, don't stare at the sun. The power isn't in trying to change something unchangeable. It's in protecting the amazing vision you already have. In the end, no, we can't exercise our way to a new prescription. But we can make smart choices every day to support our eye health for a lifetime. So the real question isn't about throwing your glasses away. It's about what healthy habits you're going to start today so you can keep seeing this world as clearly as possible for years and years to come.